Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Cast Revive, your weekly Top 5 VGM podcast. I'm your host, Matt Heimerl, and with me, as always, is the creator of Hopscotch, Steve Moncelsi.
Hello, everyone.
How's everybody doing tonight? Before we get started, I wanted to thank Ignition Inc. and Brandon Specht, a good friend of ours, for inviting us out to their awesome event yesterday. We got to host a Mario Maker table with all the proceeds going to the American Cancer Society.
Woo!
And I think it was very successful. We had a lot of people come up. Only 2 people completed it out of, what would you say,
maybe 50?
Yeah,
50
I mean,
more?
and some people were dumping. I mean, it was seriously, it was $1 for 3 tries, and people were dumping like $20 into it, and they couldn't beat it. It was insane. It was hilarious watching some of the frustration. But there was a small little exploit that somebody figured out that I really wish wasn't in there. Otherwise, I think nobody would have finished it. But I'm kind of glad that 2 people.
And what's funny is that the second person that won it, actually took that exploit, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I see what he's talking about.
So thank you guys and everyone who came out to support us for that event. It really meant a lot to us, and it was great meeting new people, and hopefully we met and gained some new followers for the years to come. But in addition to that, we have a super duper awesome, fantastic episode because we have a special guest with us tonight. The man, the creator, I would say, of the Orlando pop culture geek-based podcast called For Geek's Sake, Mr. Al Sterling.
Hey guys, how you guys doing? I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you so much for coming on. This is quite a treat for us. This is our first guest collaboration with someone that we just met. So this is a really cool feeling.
This is rolling. A lot of things happening for the show.
A lot of things happening. This is great, and we're honored that you could come out tonight.
Oh,
so
listen, I'm a big fan of the show, and I guess I got to say this out front. I feel like a little bit of a poser being here. I do. My geek tends to go a mile wide and an inch deep. I'm too ADD to be able to focus on anything. So I've been listening to you guys' show, and I'm a big fan. I really, truly am.
Thank you.
But like you guys play through the tracks, and I'm like, I have no idea. And like, well, it's obviously you guys talk about Mega Man all the time, and you guys are waxing the difference between Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 3, and I'm like, I don't remember anything about either of those games.
Is Mega Man the guy who ate the mushroom? That's Mario.
I'm not quite that bad, but sometimes I get a little close.
But it's great because part of the show and the reason why we do some of the things is that people who aren't as familiar or don't remember as much, it kind of lets them relive their youth and bring back that nostalgic feeling that these games represent. So it's really great to have someone on who doesn't have all that knowledge to where they can make, whoa, I've never heard that. That is awesome. I kind of want to try this out or go listen to it. And that's what it's all about.
Well, Al, let me ask you, is there any games that you've heard on our show that has inspired you to want to go out and play?
Oh, absolutely. Every time I listen to your show, I'm like, oh my god, I got to. Because I'm a big of a retro man myself. You know, I grew up. My first system was an Atari 2600.
Nice.
You know, and then did the Nintendo and the Game Boy. I was all Nintendo for a long time.
There you go.
I refused to go. Here's where I missed out though. I refused to go Sony. So PlayStation dropped, and I'm like, no, I'm a Nintendo man because at the time, I'm sure you guys remember that was a thing. You couldn't.
Oh, right.
Absolutely.
I mean, we were poor too, so there was
go
no
that
having
side
both.
of the tracks.
Exactly. You were a Nintendo man or you were a Sony man, and you made your choice. And so I was Nintendo, and then the PS2 dropped, and I'm like, no, I'm staying Nintendo. And then every single awesome RPG, which is like JRPGs are probably my favorite genre to play.
Right.
And all of them came out for the PlayStation 2. Just all of them.
Why?
Kingdom Hearts, I've never gotten to play a Kingdom Hearts game. I want to play them so badly.
Wait. To this day?
To this day.
Oh, we got to fix that.
I know. I need to go find...
Old school LAN party, baby. Old school.
But that's what I want to do now is I want to go back and buy a PlayStation 2 and just get like all these games. But now I have children, so there's no time for that. And now I barely...
Preach into the choir, man.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure you guys you guys know what I'm talking about here. But there's so many amazing retro games that I loved so very much. And I loved listening to it too. You guys had the guest on, Chris, right?
Brandon from last week?
2 weeks ago, Street Fighter.
Oh, that was Brandon.
Brandon,
Yeah.
Listening to Brandon talk and go through the Street Fighter track. Street Fighter is probably my favorite game. Like the one that I keep going back to over and over and over again. I know you're a Ken man.
Yeah, we both are.
I'm a Ryu man. Or Ryu. I called him Ryu because that's what we called him at like 8 when I was 8 years old. Like that's pronounced Ryu. And then I get all the guys that get real snobby about it.
It's Ryu.
It's Ryu. And then they keep doing like the Japanese accent. I'm like, dude, he's Ryu. I was 8. It was pronounced Ryu.
He says Ryu. Pats on head.
Oh, he's so cute. But speaking of backlog, you want to see how big my backlog is. Just look at that wall there.
Oh, I'm so jealous of that wall.
That is, and his is
about
his is about 3 times the size. Yeah, so it's
I like the Jones Soda across the top too. That's a nice touch.
the Buffy the Vampire Slayer one. My wife.
Oh, is
and
that
I,
actual? I just thought it was just Jones Soda.
My wife and I are diehard fans of Joss Whedon and Buffy.
How would be his name? I actually am about. I think I'm about halfway through Buffy now.
Nice.
So I picked up Whedon watching Firefly.
Yep.
And then went just straight down. So I picked up Angel and Dollhouse, and I went all those. And I never picked back up Buffy because I was like, I don't know, man. I'm a little old to go back and watch. And eventually it just became this really embarrassing, like, oh, I'm a Whedon fan. Oh, yeah, what'd you think of Buffy?
If you're a Whedon fan, you gotta know
You
Buffy.
gotta, and I'm loving it, too. I'm like this 34-year-old man watching this high school girl. I'm like, yes, this is awesome. Let's do this
I
thing.
still watch Powerpuff Girls. So I don't know what you all are
Dude,
talking
Buttercup.
about.
Buttercup is my girl.
My wife calls me out on that. Like, you watch this? Yes.
Yeah?
You
Yeah, I do.
didn't?
Yeah, my wife's a huge Power. She actually has the Powerpuff Girls, Bob's Burgers collab T-shirt.
I saw that.
Yeah, my wife has it. It's awesome.
That is
So,
phenomenal.
yeah,
I'm
it's-
more than a little jealous. I would wear that shirt. I don't even care. I don't even care.
Get him early Christmas gift.
It's not too late. It's on my birthday's coming up. We can do this thing. Let's talk about
Nice.
this. Let's talk
Awesome.
about this.
Well, before we jump in, we want you, being our guest, to be able to kind of talk about your project, what you do, where people can find you, and kind of if you have anything coming up that you kind of want to kind of share.
So I started For Geek's Sake just a little under a year ago, and I'd done a podcast previously called the Irreverent Podcast. I did youth ministry for a little while, and I wasn't a very good youth minister because I was good. Me and the God thing we were fine, but me and the church and the organization and such we didn't do so well.
Right.
I still like drinking, so that really and then like a lot though, so it became a problem. Swearing, there's a lot of I wasn't a good youth minister. But out of that, we started this podcast called Irreverent. It's still actually ongoing. One of the guys that I designed it with, a guy named Zwain, he has the End Radio Network over there. And so we did this one. It was basically like, it was a real take on all things religion. And so we did that for a while, and that was how I got exposed to podcasting, and I really enjoyed it. And then that I eventually got to the point where I was like, no, this really isn't for me anymore. The format kind of didn't go my way. And so I was looking around going, I really enjoy doing the podcast. What am I going to do? So I was like, well, what do I care about? Geek. I do all things geek. And I guess one of the things that I found like a gap, trying to find something that didn't already exist, is I found that there's a lot of these ridiculously awesome specialized stuff like what you guys are doing,
right? Which
is just phenomenal. But there wasn't a whole lot of like that, just like me, that mile wide, inch deep, that intro to geek. You know what I mean? Like, hey, listen, I watched this. I watched the Avengers movie. I'd like to know a little more, but the comic book stuff scares me. So trying to kind of meet them in the middle there. So that's really where For Geek's Sake started. So we've been, like I said, doing a little bit less than a year now. We actually record out of Factor, which is a maker studio down off of Ivanhoe,
right,
and a little just north of downtown Orlando.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and actually, you guys have been mentioning Bart. His brother Doug is the one who owns Factor.
Right.
So the two of them, he actually was one of the ones who made the giant arcade machine you guys had mentioned.
Yeah.
So we had him on the show because we go a mile wide and inch deep. So we've talked about everything from anime. We talk about video games, comic books, VR, technology, science, all of it. So we drop every Thursday, and we'd absolutely love anybody who would be interested. We're going to actually be looking forward to having you guys on the show here in just a little while.
I'd love
great.
it. Absolutely. And I noticed you guys also do a lot of board games. I see you try out. You test play, and I think that's awesome. I've seen a lot of board games. I'm like, I've never heard of this. That looks awesome.
Well, and so that was actually part of my passion project here. I actually my big dream is to open up a board game cafe here in Central Florida.
Nice.
And I've been working. Well, I've been working towards it. Do you guys allow cursing? I should ask that right now. Do you guys allow cursing on your podcast?
Yes.
All right, because I got to tell you. So I created a business plan. I went through a lot of work. Spent a year putting together this thing, and this thing is just. It was set. It was ready to go. The people at the time, the whatever else, and I went to the bank, and the banks were basically you. Yeah. And they're just all assholes. That's really what it came down to. And so financing-wise,
banks.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, I was stupid enough to think that the SBA, this whole small business thing, was actually for people trying to start a small business. It's not. No, it's not. So that was a really big frustration, but I still have a passion for board games. And I've got a couple of the folks that are editors on our Facebook page are big board game guys, and they've shown me this whole new world of stuff.
That's
and so
cool.
I do, but I bounce around because I'll go through a big board game phase, and then I can feel myself starting to listen to your show. I'm sliding back into a video game phase now. Me and my Xbox 360. The Xbox Live Arcade was huge for me because it was give you access to a bunch of those old school games.
Right.
I'm a huge Bomberman fan.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
I love Bomber. I was so bad at it. I'm so bad at it. I get excited because I get the combination of the speed with the drop multi-bombs, and so I just start running and dropping like 12 bombs behind me, and then invariably blow myself up because I block myself in, and I'm like,
That's awesome. That is awesome. What would you say if you had to pick one game, like growing up, do you remember? What would you say was your favorite growing up?
It's got to be Street Fighter 2.
Street Fighter 2?
I mean, there's so many games that I loved. Final Fantasy, Dragon Warrior, Battletoads. I love Battletoads and Battletoads versus Double Dragon.
Battletoads is the game everyone loves to hate.
Loves to hate.
Yeah. Well, I'm not good at any of them. Like Street Fighter is probably the only game that I consistently can say that I win a decent amount on. You know, most of them I'm very, very bad at. I'm not a completionist. So I'm like, when I sit down to play like an RPG, my goal is to see if I can finish it. Just forget how I finish it. Can I stay focused on my little ADHD rattled brain to get to the other side of this damn thing?
Now, Steve, I'm going to ask him a question to see if the podcast is going to run normal length or run short.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
You mentioned that you were not.
Should I move away from him?
No.
Okay. All right.
You mentioned that you're not a Sony fan, like a PlayStation. If you didn't get one, and you mentioned you played Final Fantasy. Have you played Final Fantasy VII?
No.
Well, everybody, thanks
Well,
for listening.
turn off the
Thank you
mic.
guys. I still appreciate you guys coming. I really appreciate having me here briefly.
How's Sterling, everybody?
It's on this list. Like this, I took me forever to play 10. Final Fantasy 10 was like this, the huge.
Well, at least he played 10.
It took me. I had to go find a PlayStation and borrow it so I could play 10.
Yeah.
And I mean, I never really talked about 7, but 7 didn't hit me. All the way around, like everybody I knew was playing 10. Everybody knew was talking about playing 10.
Right.
And then the first game I got to play was the 10X.
10X2,
which it was a bit of a shift for me. It was a good game, but it was not what I was expecting when I was playing. I mean, like I'd played Final Fantasies 1, 2, and 3. I guess they're not just one, and then 5 and 6 or whatever they happened to line up for the Japanese. But
we got you.
I did 1, 2, 3. Then I picked up 10X2, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, that's a lot that happened.
Yeah, I missed something here. Like
Is this a Barbie game? What is going on?
see, I was so confused. I'm like, why are we changing outfits? I don't understand.
Well, they had a concept, just so you know, like in Final Fantasy, where they kind of, as with every game, they try to improve, and they go out a different direction, and they take things. So in this example, they kind of went out and did Final Fantasy Tactics, which was a Final Fantasy game that was more like Risk, okay?
Right. Okay.
And you could actually change your job class. So you actually are like, you start as a page or something like that, and then you can turn to a mage or a fighter, whatever you want. Well, they kind of developed that even more. And when they made, X2, they're like, well, let's still do that. They can change all their different jobs, and we'll just have them change dresses. And that's the same thing as changing complete classes.
Right.
And that way they didn't have to go and bring in different characters. You didn't have to go somewhere special just to make it happen. You could just do it on the fly.
Right.
Yeah. So,
and it was, and I actually, you guys had talked about it. I think it was in the boss fights episode a little while ago where you guys were talking about this exactly. And it did make me stop and reevaluate, because if you'd asked me out, it's only that was a crap game. I'm sorry I ever played it. And then as I was listening to you guys, I'm like, you know what? That's a really good point. Like, I need to get back now that you forced me to rethink it through again. I'm like, okay, no, it had a lot of cool stuff. I see where they were going with it now.
Something you can appreciate when you get a little older, and you're like,
Right.
you know what? I can kind of see why they did that.
and
I'm
it's
no
the first
longer an
Final
asshole.
and it's the first Final Fantasy that's a true sequel.
That's true. That's
yeah.
true.
Oh yeah. I was hearing that too. Well, it was just it was when you were. It was I was prepared for something entirely different.
Yeah.
It's like when you grab the drink and you think you've got a Coke and you take a swig and it turns out it's beer. You're like, oh god. Even if
Not
you like
what I was
beer,
thinking.
that is not what my palate was prepared for.
But okay.
All right.
Well, we're going to go ahead and jump into the meat of this podcast, which is, Steve, you want to drop what we're doing this evening?
Video games that were based on movies.
Oh, goodness.
Now this was very
Good
kind of
mo-
you guys. I really appreciate that.
Good movies, bad movies,
Everything.
movies.
I'm gonna try really hard not to embarrass myself here.
So what we're going to do is we're going to have a little game going. Every time we play a track, we're going to give Al a chance here to guess what movie it could have been from. And it's going to be hard. I mean, some of them you're going to hear it and be like, okay, I know what this is.
Well, let's do this. Al, what was our opening?
Yes. Do you know what our opening was?
Actually, I was sitting here listening to. I was desperately trying to place it. I couldn't do it. But I'm going to feel dumb when you tell me what it is. Because I recognize the tune, and I'm like, my brain is frantically trying to figure out. Like,
drum roll, please. Goonies 2.
Son of a bitch.
Cyndi Lauper.
Ugh. The Goonies are good enough.
I do love me some Goonies too.
So that was the only track except for the ending, and I think one other. It was just that track the whole game. You're just like, oh, it gets so old.
That's okay because that is like one of the best '80s songs ever. Actually,
that game was brutal.
I'm hoping. So we got 10 tracks total that we're going to be doing. Correct? Okay,
yes, sir.
I am going to aim for a 60%. I want to see if I can name 6 out of 10. If I can pull that off, I'm going to call this one a victory.
I think you'll be able to do it.
That's like I'd like to note that I'm going for an F. I'm like, I just hope I can get an F on this.
You automatically get an A from us just for showing up tonight. So.
Oh, yay. I'll take the gimmies. I'm not proud.
Here we go. To Steve's. We're going to start with you tonight.
All right. My number 5.
Yeah, your number 5.
Okay, so
I kind of wanted to sing along with that
a little bit.
So I can name the song. I'm not sure what movie it came from though.
Okay, go ahead with the name of the song.
That's Smooth Criminal.
It is Smooth Criminal from the movie Michael Jackson's Moonwalker.
Ah, okay, yeah, no, you. Okay, I'm not ashamed to say I have not seen that particular feature film.
I know. I'm right with you because when he gave me that, I was like, "Was Moonwalker a movie?" I was like, I don't remember Michael Jackson having. And then and I saw the link. I was like, "Wait a minute."
No, I do remember the Michael Jackson. Was that an original Nintendo game, or maybe it was a Super Nintendo game? Did you guys ever play this one?
The Moonwalker game?
No. It was just a Michael Jackson video game. I think it was
the Michael Jackson Experience, which is for like the newer systems. And I don't know if another one
other than this one's for the Sega Genesis. That was called Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. Was an actual game where he threw his hat.
Yeah. There's like you dealt with like the zombies. Oh, sorry, from Thriller, and you did. I remember playing this game when I was very young. No, is this too obscure?
This is obscure.
Might be.
I have to look that up.
If we're getting stumped here. I have to look
Oh,
this
wow,
up
really?
now.
Then
That's
fantastic.
Then
let's assume I'm wrong. Because really.
No, I hope you're right, because if it is true, I need to see this game.
Well, let me tell you about Moonwalker. Okay, first off, the movie was actually a bunch of shorts that were different Michael Jackson songs that he put into videos, and then they collaborate all the movies or the videos together, made a movie. And it starred Joe Pesci as Mr. Big, and the actual Smooth Criminal video came from Michael Jackson's Moonwalker.
Wow.
Where he's in the bar fighting all the gangsters. And what was awesome about the game is as you're fighting through, it's kind of like a Final Fight type game, especially in the arcade. And as you powered Michael Jackson up, he could do his dance routine. And you hit it, it automatically stops everything on the screen, and they all do this like Michael Jackson dance thing, and then it destroys all the enemies on the screen.
Okay, this is the game I'm thinking about.
Yep.
This is the game I'm thinking about.
Right,
okay.
Okay. So then, in the arcade, it was a little bit different because you can get different power-ups based on like his monkey that he had, and eventually you turn to a robot. And you could actually shoot lasers, and oh my god, you could play 3 players at the same time. And when you had all 3 players going with that, it was like watching the game Mercs on crack. I mean, it was just, there's just lasers everywhere. Nothing was getting out. It was amazing.
Because when you think of Michael Jackson, you think of giant robots with lasers.
With lasers, absolutely you do.
Great callback to Mercs, too. That was a phenomenal game.
That was a great game.
I loved Mercs.
Mercs was actually a part of the Commando line. It was part of Commando and Bionic Commando.
Ah.
Bionic Commando was awesome.
I did not know that.
Drop it. Knowledge.
There it is.
They need to remake a Bionic Commando for like the Xbox One.
No,
for the Xbox One. I want like a Just Cause, but in like a Bionic Commando.
I was gonna say that's Just Cause. There isn't any difference.
I need the arm, man. I need the arm.
He's got it. It's awesome.
I was going to say, he's pretty much got everything in that arm. Like, he's like Inspector Gadget hardcore, man. He's
Just Cause is a wuss.
What?
Or whatever the guy's name is.
We are getting off topic.
Hey, look, I'm 1 for 10, so I'm thrilled. So that's
that is a good
There
start. Let's see if you can get my number 5.
All righty.
Yes.
Nah, I think you got me.
This is. Well, do you have a guess? Just throw a wild guess out.
No,
there.
I can't. It feels a little 80s, and that's about the closest I can get. I'm trying to get it down to a decade. I won't even try to get to a genre.
This is a game based off of Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Oh, no, I'm so sad.
And
I'm so sad right now.
And
I'm just depressed.
The soundtrack was composed by a band named Anamanaguchi, and they composed the whole thing. This game, while I didn't read the graphic novel, which is what the movie was based on, and then the game was based off the movie. But it's an awesome side-scroller, beat-em-up style, and there are so many references to retro gaming.
Listen,
Mario, Kirby. I mean, it's awesome.
Oh, nice.
So I did it all. I love Scott Pilgrim, which is why it hurts so badly that I didn't get this. I read all the graphic novels. I then watched the movie, and the movie did, because for me, anytime we're doing a video game movie or doing it, you always kind of go, we'll see how this goes. But the movie was spot on, and the video game was phenomenal. And I loved that with this game in particular, they didn't bother to try to follow the story. So, there's this typical what you're going to do in these video games. You're going to follow the movie as close as you can.
Right.
The Scott Pilgrim like, no. Just wait. Here. And it felt so much fun. It felt like I was playing, it felt like The Simpsons. You guys ever play The Simpsons arcade game?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that kind of just beat them up. It does not matter. Don't try to follow the plot here. Just jump in and have a good time.
It is. You can play with 4 friends, and one of the things that I read people complain about it was that there was no online component. They're just like, no, this is old school. Get people in your house and play with them on the same TV.
Online. Boo.
Exactly.
We all know my feelings on that.
I thought you loved it.
I can only be called horrific racist names so many times in one day.
That's very true. By
9-year-old. When a 9-year-old calls me a name that I don't know, and I'm like, the hell did you just say?
You're online looking at, what does that mean? I am not one of those.
UrbanDictionary.com, just on the side screen, just dedicated so I can figure out what they just called me.
Yeah, we talked about that a while back. It's just, it's sad. Like, you just, what the internet has become now. It's just, everybody can hide behind it, and just like, it's embarrassing.
Remember how excited you were when you could play with somebody that didn't have to be sitting in your house? Like, that was just the greatest thing in the world.
It was so much fun.
I never had those people.
You still don't.
Oh.
By the way, it's time for my weekly check of friendship.
But I'm here.
Yes, good job.
I did the old
have a starburst.
I did the old bulletin boards. Did those like way back in the day, dial-up bulletin board systems. Playing Lord of the Red.
BBSs.
Exactly. The Red Dragon, Legend of the Red Dragon Lord, and then was it Trade Wars? Trade Wars was the other big one that we played. There was no music for those, so otherwise I would bring that in for you guys. But it was all text-based gaming, so there wasn't a whole lot of
the music was like.
Yes, that was so great.
Yes, I remember that game.
That's my new ringtone.
Yeah, 4800 baud, baby. Let's do this thing.
Those were the days, man. I used to collect the world, dial up to WorldNet, and I miss that sound.
Oh, it was great
because back then things were simpler, man.
Didn't have to work. Some guy had 8 phone lines running into a computer in his house, and that was what we did.
Are you some sort of wizard? Yes,
this is amazing. Oh my god.
Oh, it's fantastic.
We're like at NASA. Dude, it's just a landline.
I thought I was super high tech when I got Napster. I was just like, "Oh man, Napster! I can make my own custom CDs now. This is great."
Oh man, for the 2 months that Napster was going, those were the days.
Now it's you're going to jail.
Yeah,
it's pretty much. Not that I ever download anything off Napster.
Never.
I would never.
No, are you kidding?
I respect musicians
and copyright enforcement. It's important to me.
Exactly.
Right now, we should have like that guy from Micro Machines read like the disclaimer at the bottom.
I'll have to edit.
None of the views on Cast Revive actually reflect the.
Actually, you know what though? I'll be honest with you. Today, I'm a lot less worried about the government getting involved in anything that I may or may not have downloaded. I am way more concerned about trying to navigate the pitfalls of just every single computer virus in the world that wants to stand between you and downloading anything. Because it is like people come to me and ask me for assistance, and I tell them I can't help them because I would never do that. But if I did, it's like, don't bother. Tell me what you want. I'll go get it. You don't want to go in there. If you don't know what you're doing, you're just going to turn your computer into a brick.
the lion's den.
Yeah.
You got to know the tricks.
It really is. I mean, it's so tricky. You click on one link, you get 50 pop-ups, and you can't X out of it. You hit the wrong button, all of a sudden everything goes to hell.
I did. I bricked a laptop, as a matter of fact. It was the $1,000 laptop. I bricked it because I hit the wrong. I was going to download something, then I've accidentally gone to the wrong website. Not saying I would ever do that on purpose. Clicked the wrong thing, and the second I clicked it, as my finger hit the button on the mouse, I knew what I did. I'm like, oh no. and that was it. I never managed to recover that laptop. I wiped it, did everything I could, gave it to IT nerds that were way smarter than me. No, there's no saving it, man. It just fried the machine.
I am one of those IT nerds, so when I hear these stories, I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Well, if you guys couldn't fix it, then your job's obsolete.
It wasn't given to me.
Go back to bagging groceries.
No, well, you know what? If you're stupid enough to click on the wrong thing on one of those screens, you deserve what you get.
Why is my machine doing this? Nobody else's machine in the whole company's doing that. But mine is. Something's wrong. You're right. What did you do?
Red tube. What is that?
All right, number 4.
Number 4.
All right, come on.
Let's
I'm
move on to number 4 here.
1 and 1. I can do this.
You'll probably get this one. No, not going to jinx it. The sweat pours down his.
Okay, no, you got to give me a hint. I'm so close in this one.
We'll give you a hint. It is a Disney title.
He's like, wait a minute. That completely derailed me.
Nope. Yeah, I'm done. I'm out. I thought it was it. I thought I had it. I was feeling really good about it, but then.
This is from, actually, in my opinion, one of the best Disney titles
Aladdin?
they've ever done. Close. It is The Lion King.
Have you seen The Lion King?
Yeah, the movie and the game, actually, yes.
My first
I just want to make sure.
Well, because if you tell me the greatest... Actually, okay, if you tell me Disney, the first thing I think is DuckTales. Obviously.
Amen.
But if we're going to talking about feature films, then the first thing I think is Aladdin, because Aladdin to me was one of the absolute best, but Lion King was right up there. I mean, that time, Disney... I don't know who was in charge of making video games over at Disney, but they were actually paying attention.
You ready? You ready for this? I'm going to drop some Disney knowledge on you real quick.
Oh, God.
You ready? Okay. So, the powers that be over at Disney was like, hey, we have all of our awesome artists and animators, and we're going to go ahead and make a movie. And these upstart guys that were over at Disney were like, hey, we're going to make one too. They went to do Lion King, and the company was like, no, that's going to bomb. So they went and did Pocahontas. the masters did Pocahontas, and the new guys did Lion King, and, well, here we are.
Now they're kicking themselves.
Oh, yeah. Lion King was amazing.
Hakuna Matata, baby.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, as a student of history, I did my studied history for quite a while, did a little bit of college, undergrad, whatever. Pocahontas is one of the most disgusting movies I've ever seen. I don't care how many colors you can paint with the wind. That story's
all in blood.
Seriously, that story's an abomination to history, and I cannot stand it. Like that one to move on. The two of them were just like you're straight killing me here, man. You cannot.
The only thing that was cool about Mulan was that it was actually made right here at MGM Studios.
Well, that's pretty cool.
That and Lilo and Stitch were actually made here in Florida.
Now, Lilo and Stitch, that was a movie.
Yeah,
I loved Lilo and Stitch.
That's actually my all-time favorite.
I never
Disney
heard
movie.
of it.
You shut your mouth.
Turn
Turn off his mic. Turn off his mic.
Wasn't Lilo and Stitch the sequel to the Super Mario Brothers live-action movie?
What's wrong with you?
With the same cast?
Now I think he's wrong with you. Now he's just starting shit. Now he's just starting shit.
A troll that's in the same
He's
room?
saying
That's unheard of.
Okay, Matt's going unhinged because we have a guest today.
What a jerk. He's usually nice to me.
So, The Lion King, okay, the game,
Great
which
game.
is actually odd that my number 5 and number 4 were both Genesis games.
Yes, that is
pretty odd.
I don't think you've had a Genesis game on any of your lists.
No, it's very rare because I grew up as a Nintendo person.
Right, yeah, and you sure maybe you win Sony, you never win Sega. You cannot.
No, it's and here's the type of thing.
Some kids had both, and I hated those kids because I was so jealous.
I was an RPG fan.
Mm-hmm.
And, you give me the Zelda 2, as you know, Dragon Warriors, Final Fantasy.
Absolutely.
But Genesis, this whole Sega franchise was known for their sports games.
Yeah.
I am not a sports person. I am kind of today. As a kid, that wasn't even in the realms of possibility.
Right.
So I stayed away from Sega and stuff like that. Sure, when I went to people's houses and they had it, I'd play around with it. I never owned one until much later in life. But Disney games as a whole are very difficult. There isn't one that's like, I can just cakewalk. No, they're actually decently tough.
Yeah.
And Lion King was no different. Very much like Earthworm Jim, where the stage itself is set, and there is a way to go, but just finding it isn't very, in your face.
Prime example was the stage where you're being tossed around by the monkeys. There was that certain pattern that you had to follow. That was brutal.
And just finding all the different little bugs that give you health power ups and increases your roar power and stuff like that. It was actually I don't think I've actually finished that game. That game was very difficult.
The hitbox in that game was nasty too, because even if you were back, you would get hit when you weren't even in the same frame. It was like what. The dude's on the other side of the screen. How is he hitting me?
I hate that.
Worse
so
yet, you're standing on the creature, and you can't hit him, but he can hit you.
Yeah. I hate that.
Still a fun game, though. Still a very fun game. Great soundtrack.
Because the graphics were beautiful for that game. It was like playing the movie. It was amazing.
It's that 16-bit Sega Genesis. Boop.
What?
They did release it for the Super Nintendo, and actually it looked better on the Genesis.
That's where I played. I played it in the Super Nintendo, and I did that one. That one, there was a couple of them. That one and Aladdin were the two that I always came back to. As just being, they were gorgeous, they were fun, they were intuitive. They kept the theme going in a real way that you felt like you were playing through. And I didn't come anywhere close to finishing. I don't think I ever got to Agrabah. Just a basic city. I don't made it the city scene. Like I got down to the guy to save Jasmine with the first Apple Cart guy, and I just died just every time.
And that was another game, like we were talking about before, about games that come out with movies. Because generally, correct me if I'm wrong, when they come out with games that are based on movies, they try to have the release when the movie releases. So that way, it's kind of ties in merchandising.
Now they do.
Blah, 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 blah. But, the Disney games, Aladdin, Lion King, they even Little Mermaid, they were enough that were close enough to follow the movie, but far enough away that it could be its own independent thing. Even if you've never seen the movie, there wasn't like a ton of spoilers in it.
Right.
Not like now, you go out and buy Amazing Spider-Man. Oh wait, I haven't seen the movie yet, so I can't play this game because it is almost verbatim dialogue for the movie. It's like, I don't
what was the one they actually just ran into that with The Force Awakens? They had the video game that dropped that gave a massive spoiler.
Nice.
Not even on this property, on The Force Awakens, but for a movie coming out, they spoiled, I think they spoiled
Rogue One?
Rey's father.
Oh,
I think they spoil Rey's father in one of the games that they drop for it. Like, I mean, it's insane the way they do this stuff now. Like,
it's like, whoops,
like
someone got fired.
Yes, somebody in quality control did not do their job. I'm gonna let you know that right now.
Wow, that would destroy me. It was so I got tickets to The Force Awakens opening night, the first showing available, because I knew that night at some point I was going to, and I did. I clicked on a link, no joke, for Betty Crocker. I was looking up recipes for food, and the first comment I see was a meme that showed the biggest spoiler in the movie. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm on a Betty Crocker cooking site. What is this doing here?
Wow.
Thank God I saw the movie. And I was just, so the other two actually do the same thing. So
that's so me. I can't abide that. I cannot abide that. Like, how are you gonna?
People out there are just horrible.
It offends me to my core.
You know what's probably horrible? Matt's number 3 or number 4. Matt's number 4.
Yeah, I'm 1 and I'm 1 and 2, and I'm not loving how I'm doing here.
Well, I'm just gonna tell you right now, you're gonna be 1 and 3. But you're gonna know of it.
I have confidence in you, man.
I just we'll talk about it once. All right,
let me see. Let's see if I can do better here. Let's see. Really should have sent somebody else from my show over here to be on.
Well, this one, you got any?
I couldn't know. I will say this: I'm really liking the tracks. Like, I'm really enjoying listening to them.
This track is actually
they're really
cool.
Great tracks. I'm going to embarrass myself. Like, no idea.
This is from Spider-Man 2. This soundtrack didn't come from the movie they did. That's why it was different. But the reason why I picked this game is because, in my opinion, this is the best Spider-Man game ever created. Because based on the previous Spider-Man games, this one had like a GTA-style open sandbox kind of environment where you could follow, the linear storyline, go through it, or you could just go around the whole city.
So you're saying like legit Spider-Man 2, the one where they remade all of New York City?
Right. Yes.
Okay. Yes. In that case, I'm 100% in agreement.
So you followed, the storyline against Doc Ock and stuff like that, but you didn't have to do just like GTA. You could just go and do your own thing and have, and that's all I did.
And there was other little crimes too that were going on that you can go and stop and everything else.
There were so many things to do outside of the main storyline, and I thought it was awesome because in other Spider-Man games, when you would web sling, you're just like, what the hell is he grabbing onto? In this game, you had to attach to something.
Right.
That was one of the keys. So it felt real. That my aim was great. I hit just the corner of that building. Now I can curve around it. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I remember too. You'd hear him while you're up on the top of the building. Help me! My purse. That kind of stuff, and you could drop down.
Your spider sense goes off, and you
actually had Tobey Maguire voice. So it had a lot of elements from the movie brought in. I thought it was a really great.
The coolest part is landing on cars that were like being carjacked, and then you start like bashing the windows, and you come in there, web the guy, and pull him out of the car.
Well, and I think this one really too helped in a big way as you saw this huge shift in the way that video games were treated because you had Tobey Maguire doing the voice. That was not something that was done on a regular basis at all.
Right.
And the way you were just starting to this one. I remember Command and Conquer, one of the Command and Conquer console games had J.K. Simmons. Was a real big actor. Actually, he played Jonah Jameson, and
right.
But he actually did the voice of one of the guys on there, and you start to see like recognizable Hollywood actors doing video games, and it was huge. You never saw that before. I think Spider-Man 2 is probably one of the really, really hallmarks of that was what was coming on. Now it's nothing. Now you assume that they're going to do the voices for the video game, but that's
no. It's great. When you watch this movie, and like I thought Tobey Maguire did an okay job. He wasn't like my favorite choice for a Spider-Man, but when you play these games and you're expecting to have the main character be the same voice, especially when you're young and you see the movie, it's like, oh, it's the same guy. So you have that like everything is still
it's
real.
All in the same.
It's all in the same world exactly, and it's not just I don't know why is there two different Spider-Man? What's going on? Like it's the same, and it's just
back up for a second. You're not a Toby. You didn't go for Toby.
He was okay.
Can I drop my opinion on this one real quick?
Sure.
Because this is going to go exactly where this is going. This is where it's going. For me, I think they were perfect in their respective Spider-Mans because, Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 with Tobey Maguire is supposed to be the classic comic book Spider-Man. Peter Parker, the really nerdy, schoolboy kind of Peter Parker. Whereas you have the Andrew Garfield with the Amazing Spider-Man series, which is supposed to be more like the Ultimate Spider-Man.
Sure.
So they are definitely different. It's like comparing apples to oranges, even though they're both the same character.
Mm-hmm.
They're not supposed to be.
Right.
I will say that Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire is objectively horrible.
That actually is horrible.
At no point should Topher Grace have ever been playing Venom.
I agree. But what's his name playing Sandman was phenomenal. That guy was awesome. And
I liked him.
Just like, what was it something Hayden Church?
Whatever his name is. Yeah, he was awesome.
How anybody screwed up Spider-Man 3 is beyond me.
Easy. They put Venom in it.
No.
No. Venom is fantastic, but he should have been a sidekick. Venom was deserving of his own movie. The fact that they tried to throw him in there as a surprise thing, he's too much of a legendary Spider-Man villain to just be an afterthought in the movie.
I agree with that.
If they would have taken him out and given him his own movie, and then even if they did another movie and brought in Carnage, they could have done the whole Maximum Carnage thing, and that would have been phenomenal. But the fact that they tried to shoehorn him in with Topher Grace as Eddie Brock.
Topher Grace.
I like Topher Grace. I don't have anything against him, but what?
Now, Topher Grace would have been better as Venom had it been in the Ultimate series, because in the Ultimate comics, Eddie Brock and Peter Parker are the same age. They're best friends, and their fathers worked together, and they created this symbiote suit.
Brock, they had it all set up too. They brought back the guy from space, Jonah Jameson's son is coming back. I thought they were setting it up for that.
Or Man-Wolf?
Yeah, whatever.
He became Man-Wolf.
Did he really?
Yeah, he was another villain.
Anyway, I don't want to derail us too much.
No.
That one was that bothered me. I was like, how did you screw up Venom, man?
We thrive on derailment on this show.
Absolutely.
I love tangents. I love going completely off. Like I said, I just spent 5 minutes talking about Betty Crocker websites on a video game. It's great. People are like, what the hell am I listening to?
Don't knock the Croc. Betty Crocker's awesome. I'll have words.
You better believe on my podcast tag, I'm throwing Betty Crocker on.
That's right.
Are they talking about food? No. What the hell is this?
One more hashtag, baby. Let's do this thing.
Lion King soundtrack. What is this? All right, we're gonna move on to this is number 3, right? You're number 3.
Yeah, I'm 1 for 4 so far.
But you have that one.
I do.
My next one, you're absolutely going to get.
All right.
And this is my number 3, so you should absolutely get this.
Okay, good. Let's just try this.
All right, Al.
So there's this little man that lives inside my brain, and he runs around to the filing cabinet, is desperately trying to find the thing.
What is it? What folder?
I know this.
Please, Al.
Was this Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yes.
Okay.
It was.
Yeah. There we go.
Right.
I know I was trying, I just need something here. I know I can put this one together. I'm going to claim that one as a victory. I didn't even have to get a hint. I'll take the hint.
Produced by LJN.
That is a victory. Yep.
It's a great track, too. That's a really good one. I don't know that I ever played this game.
This game was very, very hard. This game was stupid hard. You controlled Eddie Valent, and you always had Roger with you, and you come across a lot of the things in the show, or in the game that were in the movie, like the Ink and Paint Club, and you have to go around and find clues that lead you to pieces of Acme's will. And the will is split up into 4 pieces, and they're scattered all across. There's 2 in Toontown, and there's 2 in the real world. But you have to solve clues to figure out where they are. And eventually all that brings you back down to the final battle with Judge Doom.
You remember the level of excitement that you felt when you saw Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse on screen together?
Together?
That was
That
movie changed my childhood.
seriously.
And not just Jessica?
Not
Jessica also.
She's not bad. She's just drawn that way.
I was looking at Eddie Valent.
That was
Yeah.
Wow.
although that was Cool World, the not bad just drawn that way. No, that was Jessica.
It was
this
Jessica
place should
Rabbit.
be erased. That was the one from Cool World. They both came out they were relatively close to each other.
Wasn't that Kim Basinger, though?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool World.
I'd go with Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah, Cool World was Brad Pitt.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
Pitt.
yeah.
Ugh, I won't speak of that.
I did. Jessica Rabbit, though. Listen, I already had a thing for redheads, and that was seriously that was great.
That whole movie was amazing.
What-
The fact that they put tunes with drawings with people, and they had it just work so perfectly.
It worked so well.
It was amazing. It was
It
amazing.
did. It did. I think it confused me. It probably set back my ability to differentiate fantasy from reality by at least a good 6 months.
Yeah,
That movie by itself. Just they're obviously, he's right there. He's talking to a cartoon. Obviously, these are real. That's how this must work.
And the fact that it was a period movie too was just awesome. Like it set place in the 40s, 30s,
Yeah.
40s.
Yeah, no, it had that setting was phenomenal. Everything about that movie was phenomenal.
it had a great cast. I mean, they're really
Christopher Lloyd.
They're really
Christopher Lloyd,
yeah.
man.
It's gonna be a sad
great
day.
villain.
It's gonna be a sad day when he's getting up there. He's like in his 80s now, isn't he?
Yeah, I saw him actually for a bunch of the stuff for the Back to the Future when they did their big the big Back to the Future day when that came through, and you saw him and Michael J. Fox together doing a bunch of stuff. And I remember looking at him too, and I'm thinking he does look older, but not that much older. He it looks like he got to 60 and just stayed there. He turned 60 around 30 years old and then just hung out there just forever.
That's true.
If you need the secret of life, ask Christopher Lloyd.
That's true.
I mean, I'm down. I actually thought too was he did what you look like you're something much more interesting than me.
No.
I seriously doubt that. but
Fun
go ahead,
fact,
Steve.
though. Do you know who he's married to? The woman he's married to was the original voice of Harley Quinn on the Batman animated series.
Oh, really?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's
There
awesome.
you go. That just made him even more awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
good taste. I'm down.
Harley Quinn. Who would have known? Who
Are you
knew?
not a Harley Quinn fan?
No, I am. I just like giving people a hard time about
Okay.
the Batman animated series because I was an X-Men.
What?
I was an X-Men.
You can love both. You
can't
can
love
love
both.
both.
I'm gonna step away from my show for about 5 minutes while I go
I
cry.
can't. I can't.
Take
handle
it
this.
over, fellas.
Those two animated series were just.
No, actually, I just never watched it growing up, so I always just tease people. I was like, Batman animated series is the best ever. I was like, no, man, X-Men, Jubilee, yes.
Jubilee. Did you really just come in here with Jubilee?
You know it.
All right.
What is that? It appears to be the Ace of Spades.
I can't. See, that's Gambit, man. Yep. Gambit and Beast. That's where my heart. But Gambit and Beast, man, those were.
I always go for the oddballs, like the real why would you pick that character? It's cool. He has sparkly fingers. Come on. And wore a yellow trench coat. I mean, it was awesome.
That was super 90s right there with the yellow trench coat.
It was.
She was always ready when it was going to rain.
They're actually bringing in Jubilee in the new X-Men movie.
Yep.
Yeah, that's opposed to that weird thing they did with like Rogue and when they did it's like I don't know what character this is supposed to be. It's like that's not Rogue, it's not Jubilee. I don't know who you're calling that, but
I will just say that I will be crying the entire time during that movie. If they mess up Archangel, my life will have no meaning anymore.
They've already messed up Archangel, so you got a pretty low bar to start with. I mean, when they did it was just Angel at that point. It wasn't Archangel yet, but that movie's looking phenomenal though. The X-Men Apocalypse.
It looks amazing.
I'm pretty.
I'm so giddy.
You're doubting a little bit more.
No. Oh, I think it's fantastic. I can't wait. I'm like,
But Batman the Animated Series had the best Joker of all time. With all respect to Heath Ledger, that was the best Joker of all time.
Absolutely.
And I know that's okay.
It's the most iconic. No, it's the most iconic Joker. I mean, if you tell somebody the Joker, the first thing 80% of the people are going to think of is Mark Hamill's Joker,
right.
because it's so iconic. It's
you
everywhere.
You don't think that that what's his name passed him up here? I mean,
no,
because when you say Joker, like a lot of people younger than me, they go straight for Heath Ledger.
Here you go. Right, people younger than you. It depends on the genre that they were grown up with. We've always seen Joker as Mark Hamill. Almost from the get-go. There's some people you could ask the Joker, and they're like, Cesar Romero.
Exactly. I was exactly what I was thinking of.
The best. No, yeah. What? Who?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I'm watching The Flash, and Mark Hamill plays the Trickster.
The Trickster.
And he's set up a couple episodes. I'm still getting caught up. But like this is literally. I don't even know if that's a villain in the Flash universe because he's just literally playing a live-action Joker.
Yeah,
that's all he's doing.
It is a villain, and what's awesome though is that Mark Hamill was using Joker's voice
exactly
as when he did the Trickster. So it's like,
really?
Oh, like even his laugh. I'm like, I'm like pushing my wife. I'm like, look.
I'm off the couch.
And she's like, I don't know what I'm looking at. Oh, yes, you do.
Oh, so good. So good.
The thing I loved about Ledger is that a lot of his big lines in that movie were all improv.
Oh, and Ledger was phenomenal.
The scenes, like the scenes that were like the iconic scenes for him, it was all improv. When he was in the jail cell clapping, when he detonated in this like those big scenes, that was all just him improv.
Were the scars lines? Were those ad-libbed? I wondered about that.
I don't know.
You know how I got these scars? Because those lines and the way that they changed over and over throughout the movie was just. I may prefer Mark Hamill's Joker, but I'm not knocking Ledger, dude. That guy.
Well,
no,
that was different types of Joker as well. You have like You have the campy Joker, which was Cesar Romero.
Right.
Then you have like the cartoony, the '90s Joker, which was kind of violent, but everything was kind of off screen, and you just assumed things happened. Whereas Heath Ledger, now people are so desensitized to violence and stuff now that they have to show stuff to get your point across, and that's the kind of Joker he played. So. Can you really compare them all as far as performance?
See, the Joker, what I thought made the Joker so amazing as a bad guy was that he was so hot and cold. You have no idea. Like he's laughing. I mean, I would compare it. It's a kind of an unfortunate comparison. I would compare it to dealing with an abusive friend or spouse or whatever. Like everything's laughing, everything's fine, and you have no idea what's going to cause him to switch that trigger. You know, and you'd see that happen over and over, especially in his interaction with Harley Quinn. Yeah, everything's fine, and then just out of nowhere, he goes from laughing and everything's funny to "I'm going to kill you," and that's what made him so terrifying because you can draw that line to a real thing in the real world, and I think that made him such a believable character.
Well, and building on that, I think that's why my Rogues Gallery for Batman has always been my favorite Rogues Gallery because those characters are so realistic.
Agreed.
I mean. Granted, Clayface and maybe Killer Croc, not so much.
Calendar Man,
but see that but somebody of that mentality could exist. That commits these murders or crimes on specific days. Or the Penguin, who's all he is an arms dealer. And then you have the Riddler, who is just sane but not really. He has the moments of clarity. And then at the same time, is he really clear? Thing.
He does have a pretty legit rogues gallery. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's what makes. There's nothing super powered about it. It's these people could exist in real life with no problem.
I kind of wish I had stuck to my original, but I was gonna have a Batman Arkham Asylum track on here for a Batman stuff. That would have been a
Damn
nice.
it! I would have gotten that one.
That would have been a nice segue from the Batman tangent.
Arkham Asylum, those were great games. The Batman Arkham games were just phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
we'll have to take this point off record, and we'll continue on for now.
No, but we'll
right. Circle back to this later.
I do want to. I will talk about Arkham Asylum forever.
All right, so
that game's phenomenal.
So 2 and 2?
2 out of 4.
This
2 out of 5.
This one you're going to get.
All right,
I have a feeling 100%.
All right, come on, let's do this thing.
Taken straight from the movie.
Okay, now I feel good about this one, and I'm afraid I'm about to embarrass the hell out of myself. That one felt like Superman. No, damn it all.
Close, but not really. That is from The Lord of the Rings.
Damn it all. Such an embarrassment. I want to apologize to all my For Geek's Sake listeners. I'm going to tell them to come listen to the show. And now, when I record on Tuesdays, I'm going to go on Tuesdays, and I'm going to talk about being here. I'm going to have to be like, all right, guys, listen. I'm just don't judge me too badly here. I did a horrible job.
Well, anytime you hear epic music when it comes to video games, just it's either Final Fantasy or Lord of the Rings, one or the other.
Yeah. Well, it felt, but the way the
50-50.
music swelled, and the second is the Lord of the Rings, duh. But the way it swelled, it made me feel like maybe I just have too much of a superhero mentality thinking of coming into it. But that did. It had that real big feel. So which Lord of the Rings game was that from?
This was actually from The Third Age, which is an RPG that takes you through the events of the Lord of the Rings storyline.
Nice, that's fantastic.
It's awesome. You can you have a party, and you're casting spells, just like a Final Fantasy style game, but it's set in the Lord of the Rings universe, and it's absolutely phenomenal.
But what's really cool too about that, because I actually love that game, and the thing is like you see the original movies, but you're from this perspective, so you see Ganondorf go down onto the bridge in the mines and fighting the Balrog, but your party's over here fighting off goblins and orcs while that's happening. And then as he goes across, you see the rest of the guys run.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so everything's from like you're one off from the actual story,
and especially when you're about to get into the mines and you fight the thing coming out of the water. Like so, it's
awesome.
That boss
octopus
fight there it was so awesome to see that.
I wonder if it's hard to play like the B squad on that particular game. Like you're like, we work just as hard as those assholes.
We actually had to go through more.
Exactly. Like, we had to mop up all their mess, and now suddenly look, they're the heroes.
It was great. It was great for PlayStation 2.
Yes,
of course 2. It was.
Yeah,
it was a great game.
Yeah, I like the other ones, Lord of the Rings games. I thought they were great, but the Third Age, it had that feel. I mean, when I was in just an RPG mode, and I was just like, yes, thank you for making this game. And
I had a hard time with a lot of the Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings. The movies I thought were phenomenal. The last movie, 9 endings, was a little much for me. I'm not gonna lie, I had to pee so badly. You remember that was like it got done and like, oh, it was a great ending. Oh no, wait, no, we're still gonna go.
For Return of the King.
Yeah. I was like, and then like up to the 4th one, you're like, okay, I've got to pee. And Samwise. I'm like, no one cares about Samwise. But I
forgot that guy was even in this movie.
Yeah. Seriously.
Who cares?
Didn't he drown in the first one?
Like, why is he still here? Yes, I'm sure he had a great life. Can we please move? But there was there was the one that I got stuck playing a whole bunch was you just stood there and slaughtered. Like, it was one of those, I think you played, you alternated between Gandalf and Legolas and somebody else. And like the hordes of the bad guys came through and you just pressed a button and killed like 40 of them. And it was one of those type of wander through, mindlessly killing minions, and you got bored with it really quick. Something like this actually sounds a hell of a lot more fun.
Sounds like Lord of the Rings Conquest.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Was it? I don't remember. I don't even remember the name of the game. Like I played it for a little while, and I'm like, blah.
I just platinumed Lord of the Rings War in the North. That game was actually really hard to platinum because it's so glitchy. It's so glitchy. There is no excuse in this day and age why we should have glitchy games released. If there's like serious problems, like, oh, I'm fighting this boss and I fall through the floor, That's something that should have been picked up in quality control.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Have you? No, I won't. Well, I could start going off on my feelings on that exact topic, but I'm sure you guys have a max's length for your show, so I'll kind of stifle that. So you guys come on my show, we'll spend an hour just on this topic.
I like it. Today's topic is glitches.
And the ridiculous state of the video game industry today. There.
Love
just
it.
saying.
It is a glitch.
Yes. We're on number 2s, right? Yeah, we're on number 2s.
All right.
You think he'll get this one?
I'm hoping so.
I gotta be honest, I'm not liking my odds.
I'm throwing all my positive vibes at you.
Thanks, appreciate it. I'm the worst nerd ever.
No,
that's all there is.
No, this one's rough. This one's rough. What,
this
I
game
won't
was
hold,
horrible.
I won't hold this one against you at all.
This game was horrible.
So I want to, before we go any further, one of the things we talk about in my show, one of the things I rail against more than anything else is the Gamergate and everything that's associated with it, and this whole thing of like geek cred, like you're not a real geek because you don't do this and you don't do that,
right?
And I think that's all garbage. I hate that as a concept. I think it's completely stupid, and I'm so glad that I've made that such a vocal thing because right now my geek cred is sorely lacking.
This is the Karate Kid.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. No.
Daniel-san in Okinawa.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's one of those tracks made for the game, but it's we don't hold these against you.
Yeah,
that's a deep cut. I'm not gonna lie to you, that's a deep cut right there.
It's horrible. It's really horrible. My number 2 was a toss up between this and Gremlins 2. Which wouldn't have helped either.
That wouldn't
have helped.
Wouldn't have changed the score. No, that wouldn't have saved me.
But this game, I actually had this game. I've tried to play this game. Let's not even. You notice how I didn't say I tried finishing this game. No, I just tried playing this game several times, and it's so horrible.
What system was that?
It's for the NES.
It was the original NES.
NES, and it was just a side scroller beat 'em up type thing, I guess you could call it. And there's like secret levels where you can either have Daniel like chop through ice or try to catch the flies with the chopsticks, and you got bonuses because like his main super weapon was his crane kick that he won the tournament with, and in order to be able to use those, you have to collect them throughout the stages, and by doing all these bonus things, and it was just. It was horrible. It really was. Like, the talking about being off as far as, glitchy, that there'd be a pit and you're clearly clearing that thing. I mean, by far, and somehow you'd still fall down it. And you're like, what just happened? This is stupid.
That was, that was. I think it was a hallmark of a lot of classic Nintendo games. Like everybody remembers blowing into the end of the cartridge, setting the game to turn on. But I would argue that the major part was video game developers that clearly hated you. Like they hated their fans they wanted to punish them.
Our game is only 5 stages long. Let's take it down a little bit, guys. We want people to. We spent $40 on this. Let's just
seriously
tone it down.
There were so many of those games. So like, there's no way you're gonna be the original Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought I was just bad at it. Turns out no. I find out only recently, within the past year or so, that no one's ever finished that game. Like no one ever. Anytime you get to little Michelangelo swimming through the water with for some reason horrifically electrified eel or electrified water, whatever it was.
The dam.
The worst part is the game forces you to play as the worst turtle as the whole time, which is Donatello.
Oh my god!
Wow!
Oh my god!
Wow!
Raphael's my man.
Oh yeah, okay, of course.
The guy with the range of nothing,
dude.
The
sai is the perfect weapon.
The sai is the perfect weapon.
It is the perfect weapon.
Michelangelo's clearly the best Ninja Turtle. There's just no.
I like that we all have different favorite turtles. Let's get a Leonardo fan in here and we're set.
Just hate on that guy.
Yeah.
Just hate on that guy.
Suck.
Leonardo, boring loser,
nerd. But for my final comment on Karate Kid, if you're looking at picking up a martial arts game for the NES, go either Ninja Gaiden or Kung Fu. The original Kung Fu.
Yes!
Stay away from Karate Kid.
Ninja Gaiden was impossible, but I was okay with it.
Ninja Gaiden was impossible.
Ninja Gaiden 1 had one of the greatest
because they had like these pits that like the enemy wouldn't appear until you scrolled over far enough.
Right.
So as you jumped over the pit, now there's an enemy coming at you, and you're in midair. What are you going to do?
No,
Done.
It's crazy. I'm a big fan of speedrunning. I don't know if you heard me talk about that. But there's a category called the pacifist run where people beat Ninja Gaiden without attacking anything but the boss. Get through the entire stage without killing any enemy.
Wow.
And it is impressive.
That is impressive. I don't know how to see it, and I know that's impressive.
I can't even imagine how you do that.
Just look up a pacifist run.
Are they all bald? The people who've done it?
It's nuts.
Wow.
They're all like 10 pounds.
I haven't seen the light of day.
Hands are all like this. Come on, man. But it's pretty
permanently
impressive.
just arthritically gripping in NES controllers.
I don't want to scare you for my number 2.
Well, I've accepted that 60% was getting a little froggy.
Because like when I was coming up with this list, I was like, I picked movies that I know that you would know.
Right.
But not
I have
necessarily
known
the
most of
tracks
these
associated with
right. I've known
kind of an
all of the
overthought.
movies, but the actual tracks are a little. All right.
Well, we'll see if
all right, let's see if I can we'll do a little better here. Come on.
I know my number 1 you'll get, so you have.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Uh-huh. Now I picked this track because they take some tracks and incorporate it from the original movie into this.
That's beautiful.
Awesome, isn't it?
That is beautiful.
You know what? Here's the problem too. I'm going to fail again. I'm going to pretend like I'm not like this.
Oh, come on!
It's all I got stuck. There was a tiny bit of that track that sounded like a track from Honey I Shrunk the Kids, and that's all I could hear for the rest of the track.
I will give you here's your hint though. This movie has the same actor.
Yep, it does.
The main actor from Honey I Shrunk the Kids is also
in this movie.
Is this from Ghostbusters?
You got it, sir.
There we go.
Good job, Ghostbusters.
The second you said, I was like, oh, wait, I can do this one.
As soon as it played that dun dun dun, I was like, hey, that's Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that's why I was letting it play a little bit longer. I was like, somebody's gonna know this tune.
I love me some Ghostbusters. Did you guys ever do the epic rap battles of history?
No, I've heard of them, but I haven't watched them.
They have a Ghostbusters versus Mythbusters.
Nice.
That is just phenomenal. It is so epic rap battles is worth checking out. Like, I don't get paid by them either. Like, I'm just a fan. But and for the beats that they drop too are just absolutely not terribly related though. So which game is this? Is this from one of the more recent ones?
Yeah, this is actually called Ghostbusters, the video game. It's one of the newer ones.
Okay.
And you take the place of a new recruit, and you're kind of going around and kind of proving yourself, and it's a lot of throwbacks to the original. You fight the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and it's
as you must.
Yeah, it's like a third person, like over the shoulder type game, and it's just the graphics are phenomenal. I think it was PS3. Yeah.
Yep. And what's really cool about it is all the actors came back and did their voices for.
Did they really?
Yeah, so, and it actually is a true sequel to the other Ghostbusters. So you go back to the Sedgwick Hotel where they fought Slimer. You go back to the library. And where you get to see.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
Because it was written by Dan Aykroyd and the
Harold
late
Ramis.
Harold Ramis. Yep. Yeah,
wow.
They wrote it, so it was phenomenal.
So they kept it very true to the. It wasn't like some developing company that was like, oh, here's our take on Ghostbusters.
And that was one thing, because it came out like 20 years after, so it's not like they're trying to capitalize on the new female Ghostbusters. Let's drop this movie.
Well, this game was supposed to be the next movie.
Right,
and they decided to make it into the game.
Right,
I was just about to ask that, as a matter of fact, because that was what it was. I was getting that feeling on. I was actually when you mentioned you got all the original voice actors back. I'm like, how in the hell? Oh, Dan Aykroyd. Okay, so that's a little easier for him to call up his buddies and go, Bill, come here. That's what we're doing.
Rick Moranis is the only one who didn't come back because he's been retired from.
Right. Well, and his character never made it into the game. Right.
Rick Moranis retired.
Yeah,
he hasn't. He retired from acting a long time ago.
His wife had cancer or died of cancer, and ever since she did, he stepped away from Hollywood to take care of his kids.
They are trying so hard to get him back for Spaceballs 2. Please, Rick Moranis, come back for Spaceballs 2.
It's been signed. They've already greenlit the movie, and obviously, besides John Candy, they've gotten pretty much everybody from the original one.
I will lose my mind. Lose it.
There's a lot of people that would lose their minds.
Pretty please, back. Rick, please. I understand. No blame. No hate. I get it completely. Pretty please.
Those kids are grown up now.
Seriously.
Come on now, come back.
They're fine.
Please, we love you.
They're all out of college with their own families and kids.
Seriously, you can. I mean, you're a grandpa now. I'm sure you can
reprise Darth Helmet. Come on,
please.
I need it.
God, Spaceballs was just the greatest.
You know, it'd be fantastic.
Keep firing, assholes.
You know, it'd be fantastic. I have right now, as it stands, no desire to see the new Ghostbusters movie. But if somebody came back and told me that it was a spoiler that Rick Moranis did come back and do a little clip in there, I would pay top dollar to go see that movie.
I don't think I'm taking much issue with the new Ghostbusters. I was okay with it. I'm looking at I was a little hesitant at first because it felt like it felt like it was pandering, maybe is the phrase for it, you know. Right. But I've been kind of watching it a little bit. I've been kind of keeping an eye on it. I'm starting to warm up to the idea.
I'm just worried that what's the McCarthy? What's her name?
Melissa McCarthy.
I've seen her play like the same exact role. I think she's going to try so much to be like a Peter Venkman type character. I was like, I think that we're going to push for that, and I don't know.
Why do they have to do it? That's my question. It's like, you know, you have something so awesome.
You can't ask that in a world where Transformers 5 is on its way. That's
a good man.
I'm just being honest. No, my whole thing was Melissa McCarthy and then the director Paul Feig, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I want to see the two of them do a movie together. So I think Melissa McCarthy is actually a pretty talented actress.
Oh, I do too. I think she's very funny.
I need them to make a movie in which they don't make any fat jokes about her. And in which we get to the other side of it with no diarrhea jokes.
So it's like she's like a one-trick pony. I don't follow her, but I can imagine that
they don't. Well, I mean, I've seen her do some other stuff, and you see bits of her character where you can see she's got a great range. But you could see. I can guarantee you, they're like, okay, Melissa, we're gonna make fun of you for being fat, and then you're gonna have diarrhea action, you know. And I'm like, if you can get to the movie without doing that,
sounds like Matt. Ooh,
that character's based on my real life. I'm suing.
I just think it's such a shame. I think it's a waste of her talent. It's an insult because Ghostbusters was a smart movie. There was a lot of Goofy and slime and all that kind of fun stuff. But there's a lot of goofiness to it. But there was an intelligence to the comedy that has made it age so terribly well over time, so wonderfully, so amazingly.
For me, and I've always said it, I've always considered Ghostbusters to be the perfect movie. And why do I say that? It's because it actually taps into just about every genre of movie that there is, all in one, and it all works. You know, it's not like overwhelming one side or the other. It's just perfect.
I can't really point to anything with the first Ghostbusters we're talking about.
Right. Well, absolutely.
First Ghostbusters, I'm having a hard time arguing with you about it.
I mean, it doesn't have Western, but that's about it. I mean, it's
was there somebody in there walking with a cowboy hat? Because if so, like, there it is
in the background.
There it is.
I mean, listen, they weren't rocking 6-shooters, but they had those are giant guns running around with. Let's be very clear about it. Those proton packs were just weapons,
and they're unlicensed, like in the old West.
Absolutely lawless,
no regulation.
Exactly, completely free.
Go.
I mean,
you got it.
You know, we've explored more than once. The Geekdom has explored what the horrible things going on with the Ghostbusters. Like, what are you people doing? You can't do that. You can't. If there was any place that needed government regulation, it was your nuclear-powered ghost jail that you've got.
I personally think the best scene in that whole movie was when they fire up those things for the first time, the proton packs in the elevator. And it's like, all right, well, time for a field test. Switch me on. And they all just kind of move to the side of the elevator. It almost looked like it was ad-libbed.
Yeah.
That they were just like, okay.
Oh, come on. With those guys? Absolutely.
There probably was no written dialogue for that movie. They just probably improv the whole thing.
Here's what needs to happen in this scene. Go.
Yeah. And you know, my last thing about Ghostbusters here is the new one coming out. Now, the 4 actresses that are on it, are they all SNL alumni?
maybe. I think so.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Me and SNL don't get along terribly well. I just get annoyed with it a lot. I'm not going to lie to you.
I just know Melissa McCarthy from
nowadays,
Gilmore Girls. That's where I know her from.
Well, Melissa McCarthy.
Not that I watched that show.
Because outside of Winston, the guy who played Winston, they were all SNL alumni.
Well, that's true. Well, and that was originally supposed to be Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy, correct. And then it went to John Candy, and then it went back to
what's his name?
What is his name?
Who cares?
You know
I
who
do.
you are.
That guy.
You know who you are because I know it. It's right there.
Token, I believe, is his name. It's okay. I'm brown. I'm allowed to make these jokes.
That's awesome.
Actually, I really like him too. He did a really Eddie. He did a bit on Community too. He was on Community.
Yes. Oh, it's right there. Hold on. To the Goog.
To the Goog.
Ask the Google machine. So how am I doing now? I'm like 2 for 5 or 9 or 8 or something like ridiculous like
2
that.
2 for 5. Yeah.
No, we're down to your number ones, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
So I'm 2 out of 8.
Yeah, 2
so
out of
if
8.
I nail both of these, I'm still only getting a 40%. And I think you guys already said that I wasn't going to catch his number one.
The number one, mine, you will get. I'm almost positive you'll get that. And then I'm going to give you
Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson.
Sorry, that I throw that out there.
I'm going to give you a bonus round. Our outro clip. I'm going to play it for a little bit, mute it. If you can guess it, good, you get points, and then I'll turn it back up and fade out into the outro.
All right, so, we'll see. Okay, come on, guys, we can do this.
Here's Steve's number one.
Name that tune.
He looks like he's got it.
He might have it.
No, I can't. I know this. I can't name it, of course.
It's an 80s movie.
Right. Nope, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to fail on this one, too. I'm really upset with myself. I'm going to be so bitter. Can I get a hint?
We got to get
a hint? How about one of the actors?
Yeah.
Val Kilmer.
Is that Willow?
Yes! It is
my
Willow!
man. All right. See, this is why I need a soundboard. I need like explosions going off and like people
clapping
naked
and
ladies cheering.
I was going through trying desperately to grasp onto it. I just needed a little bit of.
Willow is an amazing game for the NES.
What a freaking amazing! I've never even played the game. That movie, so amazing.
Oh, the game was overhead, kind of like Legend of Zelda, with much better graphics.
Who'd you play in the game?
You played as Willow.
Okay.
And you have swords, you have different weapons, and it's a very like Dragon Warrior feel.
Okay.
With a Zelda look. So as you go on to like a different screen, if there's monsters, you'll see them on the screen, and you walk over, you swing your sword until you kill them, and then you gain experience. You can go up in levels and really get Willow up there. And then you find what's really cool is that you have to level up the magic wand that he had.
Right.
So that when you're fighting, when you go and find Finn Rizal, I think her name was, the good witch who helps you, because she's in the movie, he kept turning her into different things until he finally learned how to master the wand and turned it back into a woman. So if you go and find her and you're not strong enough, you'll just turn her into something different until you go and you start leveling up and you go back and try again and then if it's not strong enough, nope, sorry, she turned to something different. And it's really cool. And then you go through and you fight bosses and you fight Bav Marta at the end. And
I mean, you compared it to Dragon Warrior. Would you say it's as long as a Dragon Warrior? Like,
yeah,
in terms
it was. You could probably put about 20, 30 plus hours into that game. And it had a password feature. So it sucked because it was like, about 24 characters.
Oh,
it was
God.
8, 8, and 8. And you're like, what? And like, they're like, A1, and then exclamation point minus. You're like, what? What is this?
It was a Windows 95 key? Like, come on, man.
It was really bad, but at least it had a password, feature.
Yeah,
and the game was great. It stayed with the story. You met up with the brownies and stuff like that. We're not talking like the Girl Scouts. We're talking about the little guys
little
with the spears,
like, psychotic little bastards that roll. Oh,
absolutely. But it
Mad
follows
Mardigan.
with it. Yep, with Mad Mardigan. He doesn't actually join you. He does help you along the way. Nobody actually joins you. You're always just Willow.
Okay.
And you can go into like people's houses, and some of them are like act as inns and stuff like that. So it refills all your magic and your health, and you just keep going on.
Does it follow loosely on the movie, or would you say it
follows? Yes. No.
Based?
It's really close to the movie. Okay. I mean, all the key points in the movie happen in the game.
And this is original NES, you said?
Yes, the original NES.
Okay,
and it is one of my all-time favorite NES games. It was just
really,
yeah. That track right there is a good track, but some of the battle music for that game is amazing.
So I was right there on the edge. I'm so excited. Oh, that's such a. I don't want to watch the movie too.
Heck.
I love that movie.
I haven't seen it in forever.
Heck.
It has been.
I mean, I worry that it's not going to age as well. Because some of them age really well and some of them don't. You know.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to just watch it.
Absolutely, I'll go find out. I got no problem with that.
Willow on Blu-ray. Are you ready for my number one?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good here.
Because he's gotten 3.
Yeah, he's
going to
three.
get 4.
I'll take 40%. I'm fine with that.
And the last one, I'm pretty sure you'll get. That'll be 5.
Okay, so listen, half and half.
All right, here we go.
Okay, if that's not Aladdin, I give up.
My man, Aladdin.
All right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't even know this.
And for all you haters out there, this is the better version. This is for Super Nintendo.
Oh, my God.
You know what? That's probably why I got it, too, because I've never played any other version.
That's right. That's the only way it should
stay. Genesis version was better.
Get out.
So I'm going to, for a bonus here, I want to see if I can name where this shot coming from.
I was going to say, is he giving his own bonuses?
No, I'm going to give him another point.
I want to see if I can do this here, because I think I recognize where this comes from in the game. Is this from the Genie bonus stage thing?
No, it is not.
Okay. I thought he'd go for it.
It is actually from the first stage.
Is it really?
Yep. This is the very first
marketplace.
You'd think I would recognize that since that's
where
I died so many times. I may have. You know what? Actually, it's true. I don't think I spent a whole lot of time in the old Genie bonus area anyway. I don't know who I thought I was kidding.
The Genie bonus area actually plays the "You've Never Had a Friend Like Me"
right
song during the stage.
All right.
Look at that number.
That was good.
Number 4. I knew he would get it. I knew he would. Because him talking about Aladdin earlier, I was like, okay, he plays Super Nintendo. He's got to get this track.
We had an old show that we used to do, and one of our main episodes was Super Nintendo versus Genesis for Aladdin, and which one was better.
Oh, really? Did that feature prominently in your?
Yeah.
See, you guys drill deep, man. I mad respect because that's deep.
The funniest thing is me and our old co-host went over to Disney and we actually interviewed Aladdin over at the Magic Kingdom, and it was funny. We asked him, "Hey, what was your favorite Aladdin? Was it for Super Nintendo or Genesis?" And he had no idea what a Genesis was.
I remember that.
Absolutely clueless.
Yeah. I'm not terribly surprised by that. Yeah, the guys that are going to get to play Aladdin are probably not around by the time a Super Nintendo was out. You know,
it was
great
because the whole episode was those two were fans of the Genesis, so we were all talking about it, and they kicked me out. So they all go and they celebrate out of Disney, all this stuff. So then after the episode's done, it cuts to me in my game room, and I'm singing A Whole New World while playing to myself, and then I superimpose myself duetting with myself in the video. It's horrible. It's the worst singing ever. It's awesome. I was
that's
just
magical right there.
Yeah,
that's magical.
It was pretty funny.
All right, 40%. I'm not quite as good as I hoped I do. But I'm okay with it. You're gonna give me? Can I try this bonus track thing?
Yeah, you will. Well, before we head out,
right.
Is there anything? Well, where can people find you and your projects and everything that you're doing?
You guys can find us at For Geek's Sake, just like it sounds, For Geeks 'S sake on Facebook. That's really the best place to go. We've got a bunch of original content. We collect news from all around the world of geek. It's a really nice one-stop shop to kind of catch a bunch of the general stuff. We drop new episodes for our podcast every single Thursday. We also want to give a quick shout out to Factor, the Maker Studio. Factor Studios is where we record. And I should probably give a shout out to the Hideaway Bar, which is directly next to Factor, which is how I get started for my podcast episodes.
Nice.
I start over at the Hideaway, have a drink, and then wander over into Factor and record the show.
Very cool.
But yeah, we'd love to have you guys come on over and hang out with us. We can't wait to have you guys on the show too. That'll be awesome.
Fun.
We're very excited. Very excited.
That's about it for me.
Well, we'll go ahead and include links and everything to all their stuff in our description as well, so you guys can go ahead and find it. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. For who do you think had the better list? If you can remember who had what
he's
song.
He's gonna say mine because he got mine mostly right.
I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could pick one. I enjoy all this stuff so much. It's hard for me to pick out just one. I will say I was actually been thinking about this when we talk about the topic. I do want to share mine. Can I share mine real quick?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't have it with me or anything.
Right.
But Jurassic Park, Super Nintendo.
Oh,
fantastic.
That game, that song, that music to me is just like the music in general just kind of really gets to my soul a little bit, you know what I mean? And I
love that game.
I got scared. Crap. I don't like being scared. And that stupid game scared the crap out of me trying to play it through because the dinosaurs just came out of nowhere and just grabbed you and just grabbed you. But the way when the doors open, welcome to Jurassic Park, and the doors open and you're coming in through, and it's.
Would this be the music?
This would be absolutely music. I absolutely love. If I was going to point to one movie and under this setting, this is probably mine.
I loved this game. This is actually one of my favorite Jurassic Parks as far as game is concerned. Had the worst ending on the planet.
Oh, I never got anywhere close to the ending.
You finish it and like you've gone. It's been hours that you've been playing this game, and it literally says you made it off the island. Good job. And that's it. That's all it is.
Just a kid who comes up. All right, good job.
Little anticlimactic, huh?
I was like, that's it. I just wasted like 10 hours of my life.
How did you find that track so fast? I would have spent 3 days hunting for that damn thing.
I have almost 20,000 video game tracks at my disposal. Not to mention multiple sites that we use for
gotcha.
So I have a lot. If there's a track you think of, I can find it.
So this is the difference between a journalist and a specialist, in case anybody's confused right here. Because I wouldn't even know where to begin searching for that. Actually, no, yes, I do. I'd be like, hey, Matt.
I'm looking for this.
Yes, if there's something you need, I'll be able to find it. So yeah, we are going to do a bonus round. This is our outro track. We're going to play it for a little bit, see if you can guess it, and then we'll go ahead.
All right, Al, well, thanks for coming out.
Thank you guys so much. It's been so great having you guys being on the show. Absolutely. Can't wait to have you guys on our show. It'll be really great. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Oh, that's nice of you guys.
You got it?
Your little Star Wars for me.
There we go. All right, that. Star Wars NES.
If I didn't get this one, I would have to just quit my own show. My podcast would just end right there.
Inside, I was like, please let him. Please don't get Star Trek. Please don't get Star Trek. Well, again, thank you guys so much for listening. And be sure to follow us on Facebook, iTunes, Shout Engine, Twitter at Cast Revive, all the normal awesome social media platforms that we follow. I'm sure there's like 1,000 more I need to subscribe to, but I don't want to memorize that many passwords. So, but until next week,
good night, everybody.
Peace.